All right, thank you for staying with us. News broke yesterday that President Bola Tinubu has suspended Godwin Emefiele from being the CBN governor and ordered for the probe of the CBN. He then appointed Mr. Folashodun Adebisi Shonubi as the acting governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria and in replacement of Emefiele. What are your thoughts on this? Please join the conversation and call us on 081-270-53687 or 091-390-76948. Or you can tweet at us at TVC Connect using the hashtag #YourViewOnTVC. Now, why am I smiling? When this information broke yesterday, it's as if a lot of persons, Nigerians, were waiting for when this day was going to happen. Those in the beer parlor had a second round of drinks. I was having that conversation. I had a conversation with somebody this morning that said that he was in the beer parlor and they had to have another round of drinks because of this information.
Wow.
Recall what happened yesterday, I say yesterday, last year, leading up to the elections, where there was the matter of cash crunch. Every Nigerian felt it. Every single Nigerian felt it, to the extent that there were those who died. They had money in the banks. But because of the decision to redesign the Naira and then withdraw the old notes, then people could not have access to their monies except a certain amount. And then you go to the banks. You saw what happened at the banks where a lot of people went naked.
Yes.
There were those who collapsed. There were those who were in the hospital. They couldn't
pay.
They couldn't make payments for their treatment.
It
was the chain reaction. We saw how banks were destroyed in some states because of people were angry that they have monies in the banks. They can't access it. They can't feed their families because of this policy. And now it is not about that policy alone that he's been arrested for. It's the matter of he has a case to answer in terms of, I think, money laundering, terror financing, and so many other issues that has been tabled. And then there are those who said that the way the president went about this, there are those who are saying that this is a personal vendetta because of how the president reacted when he was president-elect with regards to the policy. He said it was harsh, and the implementation was harsh. Now, this governor, former governor, okay, I can't call him former governor of the CBN, suspended
governor,
CBN governor, was with the president last week. When you look at our screen, he was there with Dele Alake and some persons in government. He did not know what was coming. While he was with his family, relaxing.
But
on a Friday.
We cannot be sure. We cannot be sure that he didn't see it coming. We cannot
not sudden.
We cannot.
He didn't
we
think
cannot
that
tell
it would come
if he
this
went
now.
there to plead his case. That thing that you.
No, he didn't go there to plead his case. So
no,
what they were talking about.
Things that are not televised, you know.
What he was, well, I don't know what happened behind.
I don't know.
But what he went to discuss was the matter of fuel subsidy and some economic policies, because the president had said that he was looking at unifying the exchange rate. And so he was having those conversations with him. So that was one of the reasons that I know that was reported, though I was not behind the scenes. That's why we must make that clear. Now, those were some of the conversations they had as at last week. That's why a lot of persons believe that he didn't see this coming, but we're used to
it. But did most Nigerians see this coming?
From my view, I don't think, for those saying that it's a personal vendetta from the president against the suspended CBN governor, because this matter started last year when the SSS/DSS, went to the courts to get a court order to be able to detain the CBN governor for 60 days. But then it was not approved because the courts did not find substantial evidence. Yeah, and then the president did not assent to it, to say he did not approve it. Yeah, for the order to be given. So this matter
So are you
already
saying
started.
the president?
No,
Former president?
The former president.
Very good.
Yes, thank you.
Former
That's
president,
former president
Buhari
Buhari
was
yes.
backing him. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that. I said this
Question.
matter.
Veronica, she didn't say anything like
No, I'm
that.
saying he
The
did not
matter
approve.
happened. I'm saying that this matter had already started. You know, this investigation against the suspended
I want
CBN
it to be
governor.
clear, Nick.
Yes. It's very crucial. This suspended CBN governor, his matter started during the former president's administration. That's former President Buhari. Yeah, and then there were investigations and there were moves to arrest him, you know, regarding there were so many allegations leveled against him, you know, terrorism, the Paris Club reform.
Yes, he not paying all of it.
Not paying all of money laundering. But then I think the presidency, that's the former administration, they were threading carefully because it is
Why?
because it is very sensitive. It's a very sensitive matter to accuse your CBN governor of financing terrorism.
No, the government, that administration said that it was not going to tolerate corruption. And so Nigerians expected.
Why did they make the move?
Nigerians expected, because you made a statement, they were treading carefully, because I want to understand what you mean by treading
I
carefully.
think in the eye of the,
They said
on the
they were
world
not going
stage.
to tolerate corruption. And if there are conversations saying this person has, you know, there are issues around this person, we found this, we found that, what you can say is step aside, just as the president is doing now, so that we can carry out investigation.
Do we step aside in
believe
this part of the world?
This is what is being said. Step aside so that we can carry out investigation. The president on his own cannot just suspend him or take him out of office. He needs the backing of 2/3 of the Senate.
But he can be suspended.
But for now, he's under suspension.
Yeah.
Suspension, even though there are those querying this suspension that it has to be done by the law.
I think it's the removal that has to be done.
He has not
by
been
the law.
removed.
Yeah, he hasn't been removed. But the president actually has the power to suspend him, to discipline him, because it actually happened
It's a disciplinary action.
Yeah, this kind of suspension happened during former President Goodluck Jonathan's regime when he had to suspend the former CBN governor, Sanusi Lamido. And this was one of the issues that were dealt with. Does the president have the power to remove the CBN governor due to the institutional independence that the, CBN wields? And, when he was suspended, he actually challenged it in court. But then the court gave a ruling that since the CBN was actually birthed from the from a bill from the Senate, then it technically makes him a public official that can be disciplined by the president. So that was why he was able to suspend
So there's a
him.
precedence.
And yeah, there's a precedence. But then he did not contest it. He just took it and then left. So it means this thing has happened before. So suspension is not
new.
It's not new, and it's not total removal. Even though I'm not sure
if you
coming
come back.
No, he's been investigated. He has to prove beyond reasonable doubt that he's not guilty of all of the cases leveled against him. That is what we determine if he will return or not. But his tenure is almost elapsing. So that is also another thing. Anyway, Toby, you wanted to say something?
Yes, but my question really is, most Nigerians would have said, based on the fact that things have been happening before now, he should have read the signs and honorably stepped aside, right? But in our country, Nigeria, do we honorably, especially for people in governments, do we honorably step aside, right? So why do we expect that Emefiele would, or should have stepped aside when he was seeing all of this, brewing
seeing
up?
the handwriting. He perhaps did not see the handwriting on the wall. It takes a lot to see, but perhaps what he was seeing was, favors and all of those. He was not seeing the handwriting that you have stepped on toes, perhaps. And perhaps so.
And he also tried to contest for...
Which is unconstitutional.
Exactly. Contest for the presidential
seat. So how do we even come up with things?
The last election.
Yes.
While he was still a sitting CBN governor, which was very,
He took the case to the court, and the court threw it out.
Exactly.
So to tell you the guts he has So he would not see the handwriting on the wall. I don't even know the handwriting you want him to see right now. What is that handwriting? Tell me.
Wow.
What is the handwriting you expect him to see on the wall? What would you say he did that he should have seen that
I think
suspension is
because even in December last year, yes, there were issues in court regarding him and all that, like the Paris Club Fund and all that. Those things were already there in the pipeline somehow. And, you know, this, during the, what's it called? Crunch of the... Cash crunch, yes. It was looking like... You know, because even the average Nigerian...
Did you see his body language during
even the average Nigerian would have been like, they may not have understood the entire goal of, you know, withdrawing the former currency and all that. But what they knew was that we don't have money, we have money in the bank, we don't have cash in hand. Please, this person...
Did you see his body language during that period? What was his response to the plight of Nigerians during that period? Was he someone that showed empathy towards the people?
That's critical.
Was it someone that showed that he is conscious of perhaps of the plight of Nigerians and what things were going on in the polity? Because when he was interviewed, he said that it was the president, the former president, that gave him the directive, and that is what he's acting upon, so to speak. And then when the president was interviewed, the former president was interviewed, he said that...
We'll get used to it.
He said that it was based on the advice he got that he took those decisions. Who gave him the advice? The CBN... no.
Sorry. You know, when you ask who gave him the advice, that's Peter Obi's audio. I got the advice from a madman. That audio just ran in my head and I just had to laugh out. Sorry, you can continue.
No, so he is in that position because it is expected he has the expertise to address the issues that has to do with both our monetary policies
and fiscal policies.
In fact, the Minister of Finance at some point came out to say that she was not even aware of this matter of Naira redesign. To tell you, he gave a reflection of his kind of person. So I'm wondering if you expect this same person to see handwriting on the wall.
I think I read it somewhere. I can't remember which of the newspapers right now, that he actually applied for a study leave.
Yes.
Yeah, he applied for a study leave, but it was not granted. So it was at that point that should have
recall that.
Yeah, because that means he wanted to leave temporarily. So I still feel...
See, at that time, it was, I think, a former governor of Zamfara State that said that he wants to leave, or this CBN governor wants to leave, and that the presidency should not grant him that study leave, so to speak. But the presidency now came out to say that they are not aware of anything of such, that Godwin Emefiele wants to go on study leave. And if you recall, too, that during the time of the cash crunch, when the Senate calls him to, you know, to interrogate him and all of that, he eventually sent some other persons that he is not around. He traveled to attend to some official matters and was not in the country. So his body language is the issue for me. How did he go about all of these things? It takes a lot of guts. You know, as a CBN governor, that you are not supposed to contest for the seat of the presidency. Yeah. So who was gingering you to say, Baba, collect this form? Collect this form, you will win. You will win, you will get... Who was gingering you? You know, you should know the law.
Yes, he must have had some advisors.
You understand?
Supporting him.
And then one of the things that really worries me is the fact that, you know, in the midst of the fuel cash crunch, am I saying fuel subsidy?
Just hold your thoughts first. We have Festus calling from K2. Festus, good morning. Go ahead with your contribution, please.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You know, it doesn't baffle me at all.
Right. Why?
You know, the man is lying. The handwriting on the wall.
Why didn't it baffle you?
The backer is the former president. Immediately that one is, he should know that the man who is standing for him in Aso Rock is gone. He was already bypassing all the protocol. That was why, you know, the Minister of Finance didn't know anything about that Naira redesign policy. The Federal Executive Council didn't know anything about it. So he would just go directly to the president. And since the man is gone, so automatically what you expect, no backup. So he should have resigned. In overseas, once you do a policy and the policy doesn't work out, the next thing you tender your letter of resignation and you quit the state. But you will not go. That is African mentality or Nigerian mentality, so to say. So I don't blame him. So
who do you blame then?
Hello?
Hello? You say you don't blame him. Who do you blame? You say you don't blame...
I blame who should have passed him earlier. That is Buhari. Buhari didn't appoint him. He was appointed by Jonathan.
Yes.
So the first time lapsed, and he was kept. Look at what the same Jonathan did to Sanusi.
Yes.
He removed the former CBN governor. And this man did worse than Sanusi. It's because Sanusi exposed Jonathan and this. Sanusi said the next government that will reign after Jonathan will borrow money to run the country. Because of that, he was removed because he exposed them. Yes, I have the video.
So, all right, are you still there, Festus? Right, Festus is gone. We wanted to find out if he's happy that with this suspension, he's not yet gone. Godwin Emefiele is still there, but it's just been suspended.
Absolutely.
Now he's pointing accusing fingers at the former president, that the former president shouldn't have retained him because he was appointed by former President Goodluck Jonathan. Well, perhaps the former president had not seen his tendencies. There was a time that it was rumored that the former president wanted to sack him, that's Buhari, and something went on and the sack didn't happen. So some persons began to say all sorts that I do not want to talk about here. But saying that his backer, Buhari, former President Buhari, once he left, he should have known that this right now, you need to move. Perhaps he wanted his tenure to also elapse, saying that I finished my tenure at least, my 2 terms as CBN governor. Perhaps that was what he was looking at.
Or he didn't want to take any, he didn't want to record any failure to say, oh, I had to resign from my job at a point that it became
What
so
else
difficult.
is the failure?
There's something called resigning honorably or leaving a place honorably, right?
We have a caller on the line. Alhaji Zubair, are you there? Good morning.
Yeah, I'm here. Good morning. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Go ahead with your contribution,
Thank you
please.
very
Yes.
much. Yeah. On the issue of central bank governor, you know, on the issue of suspension of central bank governor, it's long expected. In fact, it's a welcome idea. You see, look, this man has made a lot of people suffer. A lot of people die because of his wrong policy. Wrong policy does not benefit our economy. Wrong policy that kills, make people lose their lives. Wrong policy that make our naira not valuable. You know, in fact, you see, the suspension of Emefiele as long expected, and it's a welcome idea. In fact, you know, kudos to the president, and Nigeria is interested in all the investigations. Look at the naira issue. Up to today, you know, we are not even seeing the new naira. We wasted our money on the issue of currency, and they put it behind that. But the suspension of Emefiele is welcome. You know, like I said, it makes a lot of people lose their lives, mess up our business, cripple business. Wrong policy. So have a nice day. Thank you very much.
And you too. Thank you. Thank you very much. Nigerians, yes, it's expected because of the suffering a lot of Nigerians went through. I said a lot of persons collapsed.
Right.
Where people collapsed and died.
There was even
and then the matter of terrorism financing is reported he is funding IPOB in the Southeast, and we know what is going on in the Southeast. As people have lost their businesses, lost their lives, you know, everything, gone as a result of the activities of these people in the Southeast. We've been talking about unknown gunmen. And he's now being fingered as one of the persons sponsoring them.
That is a very, very huge allegation. And I just hope he can,
clear himself?
Yes, if he's not guilty, I just hope he can clear himself. But if he's guilty, he actually owes Nigerians, especially the people who have had their businesses disrupted in those regions. I have some friends that have not been able to travel home just because of the fear of the unknown, because you don't know what can happen to you on the road. So that man, if he's proven guilty, I think he needs to apologize to the whole of Nigeria.
Is that enough to give Nigerians closure?
Well, I don't want to say what is really, really inside my mind.
Why are we here?
Yeah, I really don't want to say it, because if he's actually found guilty, I think he should also be given a death sentence if he's found guilty, as far as I'm concerned, because people have lost their lives. To what extent do you want to have an ambition at the expense of people's lives? Like, why? What do you really, do you want to take all these monies and powers to wherever you're going to in the afterlife? So why would you want to, that is, if he's proven guilty, these are the questions that we should ask him, like, why did you do it? Because you you literally sabotaged the whole administration of a president. People were worried. Foreign direct investments were not coming in because of the instability. Payments,
school fees.
Exactly. I mean, it disrupted the whole of the country. So why would anybody want to do that? It's just so, it's appalling to find out the extent to which people go just to get power or seize power.
And I look at, you know, when we were hearing about the redesign, I was thinking it was going to be something, I mean, when the new currency comes out, it was going to be really, really, you know, different from what it was. And then when people started saying, oh, this is and it was just like the same.
Just color differences.
And looking at the budget that was used for that too, in my head, I was like, it was...
Then the matter of the mismanagement of the Anchor Borough scheme and all of it, it's just a whole lot that is on the plate right now that he has to deal with. And we hope, because another matter is the fact that if the government will follow through to ensure that if found guilty, he is brought to justice and it is not another case that will be swept under the carpet. Nigerians are waiting to see how the government will handle this matter to the very last of it. And they already believe in the government to, now that it has begun the process, to ensure that it goes through the whole process to bring from the CBN governor to book. Fingers crossed on that.